The Jared Dillian Show.
I'm Jared Dillian. This is The Jared Dillian Show. We're talking about luxuries that you can and cannot afford. If you want to call to talk about your money, please call 844-305-7800. That's 844-305-7800. This is The Jared Dillian Show. You can also go to my website, which is jareddillianmoney.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at DailyDirtNap. And the last caller, Larry, kind of made me realize that I need to, you know what I'm like? You ever see that movie Crazy People with Dudley Moore? Dudley Moore was an advertising executive, and he kind of loses his mind, and he goes to an insane asylum, and he gets all the other people at the insane asylum to start making ads. And there's this one guy that just talks about sobs all the time. But there was, where was I going with this? Did I just lose my train? Totally forgot why I was talking about this. Oh man, it is Friday. It'll come to me. Dudley Moore, though, speaking of which, you know what song I woke up stuck in my head? The theme from Arthur was stuck in my head. I literally opened my eyes this morning, and it's like, when you get stuck between the moon and New York City. And that has been inside my head all day. And I want to kill myself. Anyway, things that you can or cannot afford. You know what's crazy? Toilet paper. How sensitive is your butt? Do you really need the fancy toilet paper? I got somebody nodding his head here. Yes, you need the fancy toilet paper. I don't care. It's really fine. I have done this before. You ever use up all the toilet paper and you get down to the piece of cardboard at the end and you use that? Yeah, I've done that. I'm not too picky. Desperate times call for desperate measures. I'm not picky about toilet paper. So, that stuff's expensive. What does it cost? It's like twice as much as the cheap stuff. Paper towels, another one. There's, I don't know. I guess I'm not really using the paper towels. I don't see why we need to get the expensive ones. I do want to talk about watches. Because a lot of people, I didn't understand watches for a long time. When I started at Lehman Brothers, my boss had a Rolex. And his wife had bought him the Rolex off of eBay. And the Rolex was fine. He needed to wind it all the time. And, my boss was, he was a submariner in the Navy. And he was kind of a blue-collar guy. And he didn't really see the point of a Rolex. He's like, I have this watch. I have to wind it all the time. What's the point? He says, I had a quartz watch, and I never had to wind it. That seems better. And I totally agreed at the time. And then you get older, and you find out that a mechanical watch, you sort of appreciate the precision in the manufacturing and the workmanship that goes into making a mechanical watch. And you start to realize that a mechanical watch is a luxury timepiece, and it's something that, it's a status symbol. It's a status symbol. And, I think that there's not a lot of jobs where you need a mechanical watch. But, if you were an investment banker, if you were a managing director at a big bank and you were an investment banker and you had a Timex, I think people would look at you funny. I think people would have some expectation that you would have a nice watch. So this is one of these things that, if you're never in that kind of job, and it just doesn't really matter. But you might be in that kind of job, and it might matter someday. So, if you want to get an entry-level mechanical watch, the best place to start is a Tag Heuer. And a Tag Heuer is a good Swiss watch. They work terrific, and they're a little on the cheap side. They cost, the low-end ones cost about $3,000, and they work great. I have a Tag Heuer. I have one that's a little bit more expensive. When I bought it, it was about $6,000, and I still have it. Works great. And yeah, that is a good entry-level mechanical watch. And this, the fact that I'm even talking about this, if the Mr. Money Mustache guy was like, oh my God, this is why we're against consumption, blah, blah, blah. There's certain social cues that you have to conform to. You can't be a managing director at Morgan Stanley and have a Timex. You just can't. You can, but you're not going to, your future in the organization is kind of limited. So there's actually, I know a credit analyst. He actually had an interesting quote one time, and he said, if he meets a CEO and the CEO has a $10,000 watch, he buys the stock. If he meets a CEO and the CEO has a $100,000 watch, he sells the stock, which is pretty interesting. By the way, if the most famous luxury watch of all time is the Rolex Submariner, and the Rolex Submariner is it's the original James Bond watch. It's a dive watch. It's been around since the early '60s, and it's just timeless. It's a timeless design, and it's virtually indestructible. They go for almost $9,000 these days, and they don't manufacture many. They're very hard to get. My jewelry store in town here says they give them one a year. So they're difficult to get to. I have one. It's a great watch. It's actually my favorite watch. So if you want to get into the watch collecting habit, there's a lot of things you can do there. But if you need an entry level mechanical watch, I would go with the Tag Heuer. It's going to cost you about $3,000. Anyway, if you want to call to talk about watches, please call 844-305-7800. Sunglasses, no. Now, I have some fancy sunglasses. Sunglasses are a huge ripoff. Like, you go to Sunglass Hut, you have the Pradas, the Versaces, the Ray-Bans, the Maui Jims. These are like, $300-400 sunglasses. The cost of goods sold is like $30. There's like 1,000% markups. I mean, it is a giant ripoff. Now, I have a couple of pair of these, and they're good. I mean, honestly, like, if this is where you just piss away money, is on luxury sunglasses. Like, you can go to, I don't know, the grocery store, but you can get $20 sunglasses. As long as they have UV protection and you like how they look, they're fine. The difference between $20 sunglasses and $200 sunglasses, yeah, this is not where you want to spend your money. It's not where you want to spend your money. By the way, there's Tom Cruise apparently in his house has a big bowl right by his front door, and it's full of fancy sunglasses. And he can just reach in the bowl and pick out a pair of sunglasses every day when he walks out the door, which I think is a very cool luxury. Like, I mean, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, right? I mean, if you have Tom Cruise money, then sure, get a bowl of sunglasses. Jewelry, jewelry is another place where you're going to get hosed. The markups are huge. It doesn't hold its value. You could buy a $3,000 piece of jewelry, take it to the pawn shop. They'll give you $400. Like, it's just jewelry, And the other thing is that people buy really tacky jewelry, like that Jane Seymour, what about something with the hearts? It looks like butt cheeks. It's like the butt cheeks jewelry. Like, you don't want to buy that stuff from K Jewelers. And by the way, more kisses begin with Miller Lite than begin with K. I'm Jared Dillian. This is The Jared Dillian Show.
The Jared Dillian Show.